Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Als Hausherr.
As a host, let me welcome you here today. I'm substituting Mr. Grenke, the President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, dear Professor Robertson-von Trotha. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome you here to our symposium of the 20th Karlsruhe Dialogues, your anniversary symposium here in the house of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. How stable is the European community? What is the future ahead of us in the light of the current crises and challenges in Europe? Today's symposium will discuss these matters from different perspectives. Experts from science and practice will give us insight into their opinions regarding these topics. They shall make a contribution for you to find your personal answers to these issues. From the perspective of business, Europe, the Eurozone and the European single market are an essential foundation for the success of companies, both on national and international levels and markets. The European community thus also is the basis for our wealth and quality in life, especially in this region. High innovative dynamism, supreme quality of products, in line with a long-term internationalization strategy are the engine of the success of our region. The companies in the district of our chamber alone produce a GDP of around about 42 billion euro. The business here in the southwest of Germany is mainly living on cross-border trade and international economic relations within and outside Europe. By now, every second euro is earned with business abroad. The outstanding, excellent, attractive position of our products has given us a top position in exportation. Baden-Württemberg is exporting goods in a value of 180 billion euro, two-thirds of them to other countries within Europe, especially France, Great Britain and Switzerland. And these are not only products but also services. Therefore, we are observing the current political developments right into this night in the negotiations with Great Britain. For us, it's important to take part in this cross-border bridge building and the fulfillment of the Schengen provisions. Ladies and gentlemen, Karlsruhe is also a center of science, a location of know-how and knowledge. Our opportunities reside in know-how, for example, in terms of energy efficiency. Smart cooperation of business and science offers a lot of potential in that regard. This includes energy-based technologies and the infrastructures belonging to that. The power market, the energy business and grid development need to be tuned European-wide to make sure in economic and social terms to realize relevant projects internationally. Thus, appropriate framework conditions are the precondition for the maintenance of our competition with and competitiveness with other regions of the world. But even the best infrastructure and the best internationalization strategies are no use if we don't have people for tangible implementation. At the moment, one topic keeps us busy, which is often brought in line with the lack of skilled workers here in Germany, namely refugees and migration. I am firmly convinced that in the long run, Germany needs to get prepared for a situation in which migration, with all positive but also negative aspects and its impacts, is a current and permanent topic. Because the refugees have come, they are not not only living in our country, but they are living with us too. We need to bear this in mind in a responsible, humane way. And what can be the contribution of business and our chamber to see to it that we live up to the challenges of the big flood of refugees? On the labor market, there is a shortage of skilled workers, which will even be felt more in the future. The arriving asylum seekers, however, can only make a mid-term contribution in that sense. Refugees, however, in practical terms and in a year of pre-qualification, can get prepared for dual training and education. Our consultants put this dual type of training into the focus and present it in the respective classes and courses. But we shouldn't expect too much from that. 2/3 of the refugees and migrants who come to us are not qualified for this kind of work for the time being. Many of them are even illiterates, and with them it's hard to qualify them. On the other hand, a large number of the refugees is in an age which is apt for training. In order to integrate asylum seekers by training, education and work, a sufficient command of German is needed. This is the only way to get organized in daily life, and we need to organize the flood of refugees and migrants accordingly. Everyone is basically welcome on the basis of a free democratic order, which is not put at the disposal. In other words, our legislation, especially our basic law, is valid for each and everyone. At the moment, there is a debate on a suspension of the Schengen Convention for the sake of protection of the European borders. But this is misleading. It's about border controls, rather. From the viewpoint of business, they need to be organized such that the best possible control of immigration is guaranteed, but that the improvements based on the Schengen Convention are maintained. Mutual respect is also an important pillar in our foreign business, just like proper organization of the flow of people at the borders. And thus the title NationEUrope is, well, of highly topical meaning. Let me wish you a successful course of this symposium. I hope you get interesting information, and I hope you enjoy the stay in the house of our chamber. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really glad to see you all here. I see many of you who already were present yesterday. We had 400 people, full house in the Music Academy. And I would like to, first of all, thank Mr. Freyberg very much for having the opportunity of being here today, which is not taken for granted at all. It is great because we have an optimum opportunity to meet each other. And before I make a brief statement, I would like to thank you and your team very much, because we are here for the 10th time in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I think it's important to mention this. A very warm welcome to all the speakers. Some of them were present yesterday already, the others joined us this morning. Mr. Hover, the Consul General of the Republic of Armenia, welcome to you. But I also see the former Mayor Uli Eidenmüller, who made a considerable contribution of making the Karlsruhe Dialogues a fixed date, a jour fixe, so to say, on the Karlsruhe agenda. Mr. Freyberg, you mentioned it. I think the partnership of business and science is very important in Karlsruhe, and it is evident for the region of Karlsruhe, and I think it should be an important partnership everywhere. In terms of the Karlsruhe Dialogues, we always intend to make sure that economic issues are directly or indirectly addressed as well. Talking about the future of Europe without discussing the importance of the economy would be unthinkable. Talking about TTIP, transfer payments, the financial situation and the clear and difficult impacts of the policy of austerity in Greece, for example, these are issues we will not discuss directly, but still they are in the background. This morning we will discuss the dangers of a breaking up of the European Union. We started yesterday with Anthony Glees, whom I would like to welcome very warmly this morning, and about a possible Grexit and/or Brexit. We heard it on the news. It will be part of the discussion later on. Apparently, things happened last night, whether it will be useful or not. Maybe we will have different opinions about this. This afternoon, we will ask what happens to our economy and policy and what is going wrong there and how could we change it. We will discuss possibilities or wrong options to lead us out of the crisis using the example of Portugal. Then we wonder whether the idea of subsidiarity can be implemented in a different and better way, maybe by expanding participatory democracy and clearer structures for a multi-level governance. Mr. Pichler will address this issue later on. The repetitive question of Europe of the regions is also part of the agenda and very important, especially nowadays, assessing the polarized political situation in Turkey. Mr. Freyberg quoted impressive figures of the businesses in the Karlsruhe technology region, and he mentioned many examples which are based on cross-border actions, which is indispensable. So this is obvious. The different economic situations in Europe lead to different discussions. Inequality, justice, community of solidarity, these are only but a few buzzwords. And let me remind you, 2 years ago, we discussed the World Market Society for a whole weekend on the occasion of the Karlsruhe Dialogues. This afternoon, we will discuss about nationalist and right-wing movements and about the so-called Pegida complex. We talk about the consequences of a non-integration in the context of jihadist propaganda and what does it mean if we underestimate this danger. Mr. Freyberg, you correctly mentioned the risks and opportunities of the refugee movement. Fences will definitely not help. The inhuman and unacceptable situations of people who need to be protected in Calais, for example, is a very disgusting situation for Europe. But how did we make a contribution to this? I think we need to discuss it. Last night we started this discussion with Anthony Glees. What is our responsibility? And I think today we will hear different opinions, we will be of different opinions, but I am sure that we will see well-intended is not enough. We need European solutions for sure. And we seem to be far off this, but all future forecasts show that flight and refugees and a refugee crisis are not a short-term action. They will stay here in the long run. Europe now has to get ready for it at last. Tomorrow we will talk with refugees on the occasion of Talk in the Theatre. And given all criticism and self-criticism, we are aware of the contributions made by other European countries in the past. This is sometimes overlooked. For a very long time we thought protecting our outside borders is a national issue that we do not have to care about. Well, the problem was luring, I'm sure. Now we have to bear the consequences and we can hardly accept them any longer. And as I said, I am very grateful to the Chamber of Commerce and Industry to be here tomorrow as well. Well, I didn't mention tomorrow yet, but for the first time we will be here on the Sunday as well, Mr. Freyberg. And we will have a renowned panel. Markus Brock will be the host of the panel, and the question is Europe, a jeopardized community of solidarity. We will discuss a breaking up of the European Union. What does it mean for the economy and also for the socio-cultural cohesion of Europe? We will have a lively discussion about this, maybe also full of controversy.